Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter that life isn't high school, and if it was she would be the loser now? My daughter is 24, Kelly, and my younger daughter is 23, Sarah. They both had very different high school experiences. Kelly was very social and in different sports. Sarah was very academic and had a small group of friends. Kelly got a sports scholarship for college, but soon dropped out of college after she failed multiple classes. She basically partied and did her sport and nothing else. Sarah went on to finish her degree and is doing well in life. Kelly has a jealousy issue, and I have talked with her before about it. She is never happy when Sarah has an accomplishment. Today Sarah told us that she is going on a cruise for her vacation this year. Kelly always wanted to go on a cruise and couldn't afford it with her waiter job. In the car, she blew up, saying that Sarah was a loser in high school, so it isn't fair that she has all this now. She went on for a bit when I had enough. I told her that life isn't like high school, and if it was, she was the loser now. This started an argument, and she called me a bitch.
Not the a-hole. While it's never good to call your child a loser, you were using the word she used for her sister and in a conditional manner, so I'll give that a pass. I think it's probably closer to the truth that Sarah was never a loser, she was just playing a different game. She did what she was interested in, had close friends, and probably never wanted to be popular. Research has shown that siblings intentionally differentiate themselves from each other. I had 5 siblings, and we were all very different. My closest brother, only 14 months older, was on the chess club in high school. I could never beat him at home, so I never joined. In this case, since Kelly was older and liked sports, Sarah could never be as good as Kelly in sports, so she chose to focus on classwork. Kelly was a favorite with the coaches, and Sarah with the teachers.
Not the a-hole. She's acting like a loser who peaked in high school and equates everything back to high school. You clearly put things into perspective in a way that she can understand, and she did not like it. Did she think being cool and good at a sport that she no longer plays would get her through life?
Judging by the story in the post, I think it's a safe bet to say she did not think, period.
That actually sums up a lot of her actions.
Not the a-hole Kelly is obviously behaving like a complete brat, and I can only imagine how frustrated you must be. But I can guarantee that Kelly is going to remember her mother calling her a loser for the rest of her life. That's the sort of thing you just don't forget. My siblings can call me a loser, and it's water off a duck's back. Let my mom or dad say that, and I would be devastated. Some things just hit different coming from a parent. There was probably a more constructive way for you to respond to Kelly. If I were you, I would definitely sit her down and have a conversation. Something expressing how you don't view her as a loser, but you worry about the way she views herself and the overt jealousy resentment she has towards her sister. Remind her that if she's so unhappy with her life, it's on her to fix it, and hating on her sister isn't going to solve anything. It's cheesy, but tell her that resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Mainly though, you just want to convey that you don't consider her a loser.
Not the a-hole, you tell it like it is. You're calling out that her high school mentality is super outdated, and hopefully it resonates with her. It's sad to believe the status someone held in the 4 years of high school should determine the quality of life in the following decades. She's cruel to her sister for being successful, then complains when the mirror is reflected back on her life choices. Turns out the tables can turn sharply once you're in the adult world. Kelly made choices, and she has to come to terms with the outcome. She still has plenty of time to make new choices too. She's still young.
Am I the a-hole for not inviting someone for dinner because she made a big deal out of how she doesn't eat at the homes of people who have cats? A while back I posted a picture to my Instagram stories of my cat sitting next to my counter as I was cooking, on his own stool. He was watching. Again, he was next to my counter. Not anywhere near the food. He doesn't go on counters. He doesn't go near the food. My friend Rose reposted it with her own caption, a puke face emoji and, "You can't eat everybody house." I ignored it and went about my business. She is very much the type of person who just regurgitates whatever popular phrases she sees on social media. Pineapple on pizza equals monsters, raisins in cookies are why I have trust issues. I don't trust people who don't like dogs. Hot girl walks, hot girl books. Delialu, I'm going to hold your hand while I tell you this. Is the ex in the room with us right now, etc. She has other traits that make up for it, but truthfully I do tend to avoid one-on-one time with her. About a month ago I hosted a small get-together to show off some Le Creuset cookware I obtained. Getting older is weird. I had a whole little shindig with home-prepared food, lots of fun times between pals. I didn't invite Rose. She found out after folks posted on their Instagram stories and confronted me over it, saying that I was giving high school mean girl vibes. I told her that she has made it clear she doesn't eat at the homes of people who have cats, so why would I have invited her to a dinner party? She got defensive and said that she could have just come and not eaten anything. I said that in the future, maybe she should be more careful about what she says, because to me it was very clear. Rose has continued to tell people I'm giving high school mean girl to nurse pipeline, I'm an accountant, and all that. Am I really the a-hole for not inviting her? Why would she have wanted to come?
Obviously not the a-hole because your dinner guest list is your decision, but you're not even friends and she obviously aggravates you. Are you so desperate for social media followers you won't just block her? That's what you should have done when she reposted your cat photo with the insulting remark. Move on from her already, you both seem to be interacting like you're in high school.
This is such a Reddit moment take. Even if OP doesn't much like Rose, it sounds like Rose is in OP's group of friends, and yes, blocking someone just because they use terminally online language would cause in real life drama. OP, not the a-hole. Now I think you have good reason to stop associating with Rose and blocking them if you want. If not, you're still not the a-hole. You aren't obligated to invite somebody to your home. I strongly suggest you stop debating this with Rose. If your friends bring it up, just say, I didn't invite her and she blew up. Don't get dragged into the mud here.
I'm gonna hold your hand when I tell you this. You're not entitled to my time, my cooking, or entry to my house, Rose. Okay? It's giving Delulu vibes. She should understand that.
Not the a-hole. Words have meaning. You were simply believing what she said and acted accordingly. She's free to be upset about it, but in the end, you respected her opinion and didn't expose yourself to what likely would have been a ridicule-fueled evening.
Not the a-hole. I also like quoting the internet and shoving memes down the throats of my friends and family, but not at the expense of anyone I know. She's trying to hide being mean by acting like she's some quirky internet influencer. She's not, she's just mean. And since she's so stuck on the mean girls thing, just post a picture of Regina George asking, why are you so obsessed with me?
Am I the a-hole for canceling a family barbecue after my brother-in-law ran over my car? Okay, this all took place last weekend. Family barbecue was supposed to take place, in-laws, extended family, and family is coming over and all that jazz. Brother-in-law drives a huge pickup truck, by the way, and I have a 911. Decent size difference. I see them pull in right, and brother-in-law is the driver and he's on his phone. Because of that, he looks right at my car, and as he's pulling in, he's still on his phone, and he hits my car. I guess he thought he was a lot farther than he actually was. Well, car's totaled. This is when people are just starting to show up too, and I'm basically steaming. I was not in barbecue mood at the time, so I told everyone to take themselves and go home, and that it is canceled. Still waiting on the insurance payout. Also, I bought the car just last year, so it's not even paid off. That day after everyone left, my wife is now mad at me because some of her family drove 3 to 5 hours to come, just to be sent home on arrival, and I lost $225,000. I don't care, but my wife seems to though, so I'm asking here to see if I'm the a-hole.
Why isn't brother-in-law's insurance covering the vehicle?
His insurance will not cover all that. To get my hope the correct amount, I'm going to have to sue him.
Then you should sue him. Screw family. Going through your insurance, especially when he was clearly at fault, will screw you over with insurance payments in the long run.
Info. If your car is insured, then you didn't lose $255,000 because you will get them back when the insurance is paid, right? I think it is understandable that you were not in barbecue mood, but the event wasn't just for you, and I can see how your wife is mad that you are sending away family members that had nothing to do with the car accident because of it. Did canceling the barbecue changed anything in the process of what had to happen to report your car damaged and so on? Pretty sure it didn't. Did you have to ruin everyone else's day alongside yours? Probably not. Would you have received a lot of in-law family sympathy when they arrive and see how your brother-in-law has damaged your property? Most likely yes, if they weren't told on arrival that they have to turn around. No a-holes here, but I do think that you didn't have to cancel the barbecue because it literally changed nothing with connection to your car and only made your family and extended family in-laws additionally mad.
Everyone sucks here. I was on your side until you said that attendees had come from 3 to 5 hours away. Can you imagine driving 3 to 5 hours for a party only to find out it's been canceled? Unless there was a death in the family, I'd be pissed. It absolutely sucks, and I get why you'd not be in the mood to have a party, but to affect people who had come so far seems incredibly selfish. At the very least tell the brother-in-law to fuck off, but everyone? Messed up.
Am I the a-hole for sending a price sheet to my family after not being invited to my half-sister's wedding? Let's get straight to the point. I, 22 female, am a full-time baker for a small business and college student. I moved back up to my home state in September of 2023, mostly to get away from my toxic family and for better opportunities. Also, to add why this is even an issue in the first place, my brother Jay, 25 male, and I are the black sheep of the family, mostly due to the fact we were born and mostly raised outside of marriage. The teasing and neglect only grew worse after our mother, 44 female, married jerkfish, 54 male, and had our half-siblings, 20 female, 17 male, 16 male, and 11 male. Now, here's the dilemma. My half-sister, who we will call JoJo, 20 female, is getting married to Rit, 22 male, in July. My mom and grandma asked that I make them a wedding cake, which I would have happily agreed to if I was invited to the wedding. The thing is, they wanted me to make a cake fit for 200 people, get a hotel near them. They hate that I'm not a Christian, so they think I'll bring evil into their house, work for 3 days, and get a flight there and back. I'd have to pay for all of it. They think it'd be a nice gift to my sister. I just laughed and sent them my price sheet. They flipped out. I was bombarded with texts from them about how selfish I am, how I am truly vile, how I am toxic for expecting my family to pay for my cake when they could just go to Walmart to get one, etc. JoJo even messaged me on Discord a week after I had sent the price sheet and asked why I would charge her when I made my best friend a free wedding cake. I simply told her to F off, as not only was I invited to her wedding, but I was the MOH, and in a way it was a returning the favor for being a genuinely good friend and helping me out when I was going through a lot. Jay and his wife had said I'm not wrong for it and they'd do the same thing, and my boyfriend is on my side. However, a few people in my life are saying I should have just said a simple no instead of sending the sheet, and that my response to my sister was harsh. So, I need an outside perspective, hopefully other bakers on here too. Am I the a-hole?
So family should get a free cake but not be invited to a wedding? Make it make sense. Maybe since they're so religious you could send them links to Christian bakers. Therefore the cake would be blessed and not be made from the hands of a heathen. Not the a-hole.
I've recommended some good bakeries in their city that have good prices and match their values. Still though, it's really stupid how they expected that of me.
They can go to Walmart, as they said. They don't deserve a nice wedding cake, whether from you or a decent bakery.
Not the a-hole. They want you to fly to the wedding, make a full wedding cake for 200 people, and you aren't even invited to the wedding? Walmart cake for the wedding it is, I guess.
Not the a-hole. It doesn't matter how you express your refusal. Even if you had been perfectly polite, their response to any kind of no to their ludicrously outrageous demands would have been the same. You cannot reason with these individuals because they hate that I'm not a Christian, so they think I'll bring evil into their house.
When they can just go to Walmart. I love when people solve their own problems. So you're too evil to be invited to the wedding, but not too evil to gift them a cake worth several $100,000. Ain't that something? They aren't afraid the cake would summon Cthulhu or Beelzebub right as the electric slide gets started. Beetlejuice at the very least. And on top of that you're supposed to pay for the privilege, airfare, and hotel included. Free labor too, as the icing on top. Well, who wouldn't rush to do this? You're denying yourself a great time. They're lucky all you sent was a price sheet. Someone else would have sent them some strong words enclosed in an envelope with folding and insertion instructions. Not the a-hole.
Not the a-hole. 1. They wanted a free cake when they treat you like shit. 2. A cake for 200 people. 3. Expected you to pay for flights, a hotel, and ingredients. 4. Yeah, sending the price sheet seems about right for their attitude towards you.
Not only just the ingredients, but where on earth is she supposed to bake, decorate, and assemble the cake if she isn't allowed in their homes? Is she supposed to rent a kitchen for 3 days too?
Were I in your shoes, I wouldn't even make a cake for these people if they did pay me for it. If you aren't good enough to stay in their house, and aren't good enough to be invited to the wedding, then you aren't close enough to be expected to give them a free cake. They can't have it both ways, either you're family and are invited to the wedding, or you aren't treated as family and don't owe them freebies. Not the a-hole.
Update. So, some common questions I had received. Question: where would I be making the cake? A. One of the family friends' homes. They have a huge kitchen with multiple ovens and space. I've not been on good standing ground with them since I was 16. Question: why haven't you been invited to the wedding? How'd you get the cake there? A. It's a plethora of reasons. From the not following the same religious beliefs, to not wanting to go to school for law or not wanting to be a tradwife, to me not being my abusive grandma's etc. The list of my flaws, according to my bio family, is endless. I'd have to rent a car to transport the cake. In short, the type of cake they wanted would be $2,300 at the minimum. Update 2. I found out the exact reason for my brother's family and I not getting invited. 3 months after my sister and her soon-to-be husband got engaged, my grandmother requested my sister not invite the sinners. It was more along the lines of, if you don't invite your siblings, you'll get a hefty portion of my will. Don't really know what the proper term for that is, but I digress. So, my sister is catering to the needs of my racist grandmother over her own sisters. I also found out another reason, out of the many, why my brother and I were the black sheep in the family. So, you see, my mother is whiter than paper. My brother and I's biological father is Lakota Sioux Native American. We were told he just left us because that's how the savages act. When in reality, our dad died from a terminal respiratory illness that he had since he was a toddler. Some cis type of deal? Not too sure. The hatred from them only grew further when my brother married a black woman and had my 3 nieces together. 4th on the way. I told JoJo how hurt I was by picking money over family, but I kinda expected it. She tried to offer me $50 to make the cake she wanted, and I just declined. I shared this post with my brother, and he is rolling while reading the comments. Also, to the people who DM'd me to tell me that they hope I go out of business, my boss says hi by the way, and that I deserved getting abused as child because I'm a snot now. F off. Stay awesome and brutal as ever, Reddit. Thank you for all of the support. Am I the a-hole? I told my parents they birthed a disabled child, so they just have to live with it. I, 22 female, have been diagnosed with ADHD, autism, dyslexia, dyspraxia, low muscle issues, anxiety, and I'm slightly blind. I got diagnosed from the age of 2 to 7 with everything. Due to all of my diagnoses, I am unable to drive anywhere. I can still bus places and take Ubers, but being driven somewhere is sometimes the best option for me. Multiple doctors told my parents I would be unable to drive due to being slightly blind and having anxiety. As I'm unable to hold a full-time job, I don't have heaps of money coming in, so Ubers are usually a last resort. Yesterday, I had asked my dad if he could pick me up as the bus I was supposed to take never came. When he went to pick me up, he made a few comments saying it would be a lot easier if I could drive, and how I should learn to drive anyways, despite the fact that doctors don't want me to, as he hates having to pick me up all the time. I replied that it's just what happens when you have a disabled child, and it's something you have to put up with. He took massive offense to that and told Mom, who thought I was being incredibly rude. He picks me up once or twice a week at most.
So, I'm not judging here because there isn't really anything to judge, but I will posit this question. Do you expect him to drive you everywhere for the rest of your life? Do you have a plan for how you will gain a measure of independence?
Not the a-hole, but also don't take them for granted, cause a lot of disabled people don't got parents.
I definitely love them to pieces, and have seen firsthand how some kids get treated.
Not the a-hole. I have a disabled child who's now 16 and his health issues started at 14. As it stands, he'll never be able to drive, etc., and I've cried for the dreams I had for him and lost, but I accept his new normal, and in that I'm his personal taxi. Your parents have known what your future would be like for 20 years. Plus, if you drive against medical advice, it would probably make your insurance invalid, would in UK. That's if you're issued one to start with. And that is a whole legal mess I don't think you or your parents want to get into.
Info: what does slightly blind mean? Do you have enough vision to be allowed to drive?
Without glasses, everything is blurry, and with glasses, I can't see far away that well. So I'm not allowed to drive to that and my anxiety issues.
Soft, you are the a-hole. I'm not saying you are wrong, just that you were rude. He is, in fact, living with it, and has been driving you around for years. He is allowed sometimes to get fed up, and the way you responded reads entitled to me, even if what you said is accurate.
Not the a-hole. Based on your description of your vision in one of the comments, and also your anxiety, it makes sense that you've been advised by doctors not to drive, for your own safety as well as others. Your father's comment seems unreasonable due to your diagnoses. I do wonder, are there perhaps social services available to you to help you get around independently from your parents, such as subsidized taxi services?
Not the a-hole, but I will add, a lot of disabled adults don't have parents or people to drive them everywhere. What are you and your parents doing to set you up with services? My former sister-in-law was blind and could get paratransit for free, just had to schedule ahead. She got Social Security, so some income, poverty level, but like you, she couldn't work, so better than nothing. These are things you all have to figure out so you can gain some independence. As much as it's not your fault you're disabled, it's not theirs either.
What do you think of these stories? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel to see more interesting videos.